Good. So a warm welcome to everybody for this amazing panel. Today, I'm also taking the seat. Why not? So I'm Benedek Orban, the head of ecosystem at CV Labs and the chairman at the Crypto Valley Association, as well as I'm a founding member of a ZK startup myself, building ZK for big data. So I'm super excited to have these many hats on. And today we'll have a panel titled, as you see, Privacy Redefined, the Rise of Zero Knowledge Technology in Web3, and if it's real. That's what the question which we're going to test. Let me move a bit further forward so I see you. Great. So today on the panel we have Jordi Baylina, co-founder of Polygon on the far left. I mean, there's not too much to say about Jordi. His name speaks for himself. One fun fact I wanted to share with you about him, that when he was 17 years old, he created a virus that was tested in his own computer, and the computer actually never worked again. So that was a very good virus. So this is Jordi with us today. It's amazing to have him. Next up, we have on Jordi's right hand, the next one for you on the left, is Shapiro, chairman of the board and former CEO of Mina Protocol. And we also have the current CEO of Mina Protocol sitting on the cross. Mina Foundation, sorry, Mina Foundation, that's the right way to say. And so before Mina, Ivan was doing research in the AI and robotics space, and then he got excited into zero-knowledge proofs to bring a better regulating and internet post-AGI. He is recently pretty often here in the area in Switzerland because Mina Foundation has just moved their headquarters to Geneva, to Switzerland. So it's amazing to have you here today as well with us. Next up in the middle is Anna Grace Kleczewski, from the co-founder and chief legal officer of KEOM Protocol. KEOM Protocol is building the future of decentralized trading thanks to an on-chain order book with embedded prevention of front-running, made possible with ZK proofs, and built with the novel technology of Polygon-ZKEVM and the infrastructure. A fun fact about her: she is a lawyer first, but she wanted first to be an engineer, so that's why she's super excited on all of these topics, and she really has a very deep knowledge also on the tech side. I can improve that, you'll hear today as well. So amazing to have you. Last but not least, on my very left, we have Ghazi, the VP of Corporate Development at Zama, building a fully homomorphic encryption and pioneering that entire space. So it's amazing to have you today. A fun fact I found out about Ghazi, which I wanted to share you, is that he used to communicate with his cousins at the age of 8 in coded letters to avoid interception by their parents. So it's like, so this is the setup for today. And so the starting concept, why we are discussing this here today, is in the first 5 months of 2024, in the ZK field, so zero knowledge technologies, we have witnessed an influx of over $250 million in investments, signaling a significant shift towards privacy-preserving technologies in the Web3 ecosystem. So, as said, in this panel, we'll explore foundational aspects. Just to warm up, I'll ask our panelists to do that in a moment, but also we'll look into tandem technologies when we speak of privacy preserving in Web3. Towards the end of the panel, we'll question some genuine paradigms and how the shift is going on, and if ZK is speculative or not. So, my first question, I'll throw the ball right away to you, Jordi. Could you warm us up by defining ZK technology on a very, very high level, maybe for the audience who has never heard of it? I doubt, but let's see. And maybe go the less technical way.
Yeah, I'm going to try. I mean,
good.
Let's see. Sometimes we talk about ZK, but the Z comes from zero knowledge, but it's a little bit confusing, the terms. The way that I like to explain zero knowledge is by what's verifiable computations. at the end, this is probably the easiest way to understand what's ZK. The idea is you have a computation, can be a long computation. Imagine, for example, I don't know, training an AI system or just computing a huge hash or whatever program that just takes, imagine, one week in a supercomputer, some really huge computation, okay? And I want to, so I do this computation and I give the result to you, and I'm telling this is the result. So if you run the computation, this is the right result. How you verify that this computation is valid? The trivial way is, okay, you run the computation again, so you just rent the supercomputer, you spend 1 week, and you do the result, and you say, okay, it's valid. Okay, that's the way it works. That's the trivial way. But there is a much better, that's a different way to do that. The idea is that I run the computation, of course, so I do the computation, I compute the result, and besides computing this computation, I compute a proof that this computation is valid. The idea is that I give to you the result, but I give you this small proof, and you, in just few milliseconds, you can verify, you know for sure that this computation is valid. Okay, so this technology, this verifiable computation, this is what we call about zero knowledge. We call zero knowledge because I can give you the result, and for you to prove that this result is valid, you don't even need to know the initial parameters. Okay? This is a little bit confusing. This is a part of the zero knowledge, but the easiest way to understand, imagine that this computation is a hash. It's a non-reversible function, so I give you the result, and then you can verify that this computation is valid. That means that I am proving that I know the inputs, I know the input of the hash function, but I'm not revealing to you what's that input, and this is the hidden part of the part of the zero knowledge. Okay, but you see this duality and how you're using the technology is exactly the same, but this duality is what makes. We will talk about later about the applications. This is what these two ways of using the technology gives you the two big families of applications. But zero knowledge is about that. It's about proving a computation, or proving that you know something without about the statement, without revealing the full statement.
Okay, that was a nice summary at the end. Thanks very much. I think it's a great kickoff. We are today exploring also privacy-preserving technologies a bit beyond or in connection with the ZK. And Zama is known for being the pioneer in the fully homomorphic encryption technology. My question to you, Ghazi, is does it differ from ZK, or is it complementary, or how does it relate actually to ZK? Could you just elaborate on that for us?
Yeah, so it's definitely complementary when it comes to privacy. So in the example we had here, there was a proof of computation so that you don't redo the compute. I'll take an example. Imagine you are a VIP club. I need to prove that my salary is more than 10,000 euros for you to give me the password. In the ZK space, I have the attestation from my employer, and I'll prove to you that the attestation is correct and that my salary is more than 10,000. And you will give me the passcode. The drawback is that in the process, you know that my salary is more than 10,000. There is another technology called secure MPC. You take your attestation, you spread it across 5, 10, 20 servers. No one has the information, the full information. They process and they send me back the passcode. They don't know my salary, but also you need to trust that these servers are not colluding, they're not cooperating to get my attestation back. Finally, the FHE case, I take my attestation of salary, I encrypt it, I send it to you. You run the check that the attestation is correct. You run the check that my salary is 10,000, and you send me a passcode, but you don't know any information. You don't even know whether you sent me the passcode or not. So all the information is with me. But again, the drawback is that I could have cheated. I could have taken Anne Grace's salary and sent it to you, and you wouldn't know whether it's mine or hers. And so we orchestrate these three technologies in Zama to make sure that I can prove to you that I know the salary attestation, but without showing you the data, and then I encrypt the data and send it to you. So that's how we complement the three technologies, and at the end, when I want to decrypt, I use MPC for the decryption. So we believe that they go hand in hand. It allows to reveal the least information while preserving, a functioning system, a composable blockchain.
Okay, thank you. Super interesting. Thanks for the explanation. And Grace, I would love to have you on, we'll have a section in a moment on the use cases, but you in KEOM protocol, you use ZK. You don't build ZK, you use ZK. Could you elaborate on, just very shortly, on where exactly do you use ZK and what is it for?
ZK allows, we mentioned how it allows to prove that something was, like a computation was run correctly. And I have to tackle some, a bit about regulations here. Everyone loves regulations. Regulations apply for deterrence, basically. You know that you're not supposed to do something, and there's someone watching around the corner who will make sure that if you do not comply with it, there'll be a sanction. There's always this sanction section at the end. If you don't comply, this is what will happen to you. The way we're using ZK proofs is to go beyond that and to ensure that we have effective prevention. So in the case of KEOM, it's about preserving healthy markets and making sure there's no front running and potentially other types of market manipulations are simply prevented, because we will require a ZK proof that ensures that the matching script was applied as intended, instead of having someone just verifying based on data that no one was front running and subsequently just sanctioning the bad actor. So here, if ever someone tried to go against the matching script, tamper with it, for example, so let's imagine there's a centralized entity running the script and willing to put forward a specific actor, a specific market maker instead of someone else, or trade against you, it wouldn't be possible because we wouldn't be able to generate the proof, and simply in the entire infrastructure, the trade and the match will not go through. So it's a way of trying to prove that we can enhance regulations with ZK proofs and create better products by embedding those regulations in how the product operates.
Okay. Thanks very much. Super interesting. We'll get to the use cases in a moment. Turning to events, Mina protocol's Berkeley upgrade just happened on 3 days ago, on the 4th of June. And in preparing, I was just browsing through the community and also the news. And in a nutshell, what TLDR was Mina was cool, but it's got even cooler now, adding this ZK application layer. Could you just give us a bit of context and expand on that? What is actually happening with you guys?
Yes, thank you. Yes, so historically, so far, zero-knowledge proofs have been fairly hard to program with. You had to be a cryptographer most of the time, and the existing blockchain infrastructure hasn't exactly been built for use with zero-knowledge proofs. So there is integration difficulties as well as just challenges developing with it. What we've done in the most recent upgrade is added zero-knowledge smart contracts to Mina, that basically are similar. You can think about them as same as EVM smart contracts, but they support zero-knowledge proofs at this deep level, which makes it super easy as a developer to get access to these privacy functionalities, these infrastructure scalability functionalities, as just a normal developer that's trying to build. The other thing it does is Mina zero-knowledge proofs have this cool property called recursion, which means you can combine these properties together. You can say a user can produce a proof of, say, that their age or their income or whatever, and then you can then put that into a scalable ZK rollup, which then merges all those proofs together for scalability. So it's the super general purpose use of zero-knowledge proofs that now is accessible broadly to people that want to program with them, which is super exciting because there's so many cool stuff you can build, and now it's possible to build on in production.
Yeah, super interesting, and really looking forward how this unfolds in the community, and keep us updated. Let's move on, because I think that's what interests probably the most the people out here or in the audience. Is ZK kind of a buzzword? This is what we're also trying to speak about today. So when unfolding this question, actually all eyes are looking towards use cases, because if there is no use case out there, if we are being didactic on a very high level, let's be honest, that's still not a real thing, and it's rather a bull thing. BS, sorry. So use cases. Jordi, could you maybe elaborate or expand what you started with on the families of applications of ZK? Could you just speak? A bit
Yeah, here we can divide the ZK, and this is a very broad definition, but we can divide the ZK applications in what we call scalability applications. In general, the use of these ZK are huge proofs. When I mean huge proof are proof that, for example, for all the rollups or for when you want to do a huge computation, I mean, it's verifiable computation. Sometimes you need huge computers, huge infrastructure to build these proofs, and you don't care very much about the privacy. You are just computing something and proving that this computation is valid. Okay, this is one kind of applications, and here is very much scalability is the important part, rollups specifically. And then we have another kind of applications that are more related to privacy. In general, these are applications that are run or used to be run in the mobile. I mean, in the user's devices or in the mobile. In general, are small proofs, but are proofs that are not designed for scalability. They are more designed for privacy, for hiding, or if you want, for selective disclosuring some information about yourself. And this opens, I mean, here we will discuss about, but here is what opens out about the privacy, voting, or whenever you want to do something and you don't want to reveal all the information. These are the two big topics, and then there is other ones. I mean, he mentions multi-party computations and some specific applications in other places, but these are, I would say, these are the two big families of applications where you can put each of application more or less of the ZK.
Thank you. Super to setting the stage for the use cases. I would hop over to you. Private voting, selective disclosure of identity. Could you speak a bit of that? What is actually happening in Mina and in the industry?
Yeah, so once you have this privacy property, you can use it for applications like that exactly. So private voting is a very useful one. I think actually it was used. Punk poll was used actually here for the startup competition yesterday.
I can confirm that.
So being able to say, like, here's a proof that that I have not voted yet in this poll, but I am voting now, and you don't know who I am, but you can see, you can update the results of the vote. Additionally, being able to do things with identity, like you're saying, being able to say, I'm, like, for example, been KYC'd, but I'm not going to show you details about my identity. You just know that I've been KYC'd. Or additionally, you can do things like saying, here's a proof that, like, I am a human with a unique passport. I'm not like a bot or something that's been replicated a bunch of times when you're, like, making an online account, for example. If that makes sense for all the different some of the different kinds of things you can do.
Yeah, super interesting. Hopping on to Ghazi, Zama, what do you build? What is there really actually built hands-on with using your technology? I know you've been building and very hard on the community and developer side. You've been also hosting events and participating events here in the Zurich Zug area. Could you elaborate on that? What is in the brewing with your tech out there?
So, I mean, we made a few announcements of L1s and L2s that are launching with FHE, and hopefully we'll see that in Q4, or Q1 next year. We are talking to a lot of funds, either to tokenize their mutual funds or to tokenize stablecoins. I'll go back to the salary example, and I may sound very materialistic, but if you pay me my salary in stablecoins, it could be a problem if the whole world knows about how much I make. So you could give me that information encrypted, and I'm the only one who is looking at it. Now, futuristically, hopefully in 2-3 years, we use today ZK to prove that I know some information. So if I submit a trade, I prove that I know the clear value while encrypted. What we want in the future is to run the FHE with ZK. So I can prove that I have executed the FHE computation with the ZK proof. So exactly what we're discussing about the proof of compute, but at the level of an FHE operation. Well, it's hard work. It's 2-3 years of research, so we're not there.
Yeah, I understood. However, I'm pretty sure that some hands-on teams are already building with FHE.
Yes.
Something very close, like a protocol, like not just like a layer one. Could you mention like something which the audience could then Google up and see who is building with FHE?
Yeah, so in decentralized AI, for example, we have a few clients who want to basically run AI protocols on confidential data, and so the FHE comes handy. They haven't launched yet, so if you Google, you will find a few names. I'm not going to play favorites, but there are at least 4 clients that made public announcements. The reality, though, I'm very excited about tokenization, and these funds and banks don't want to publicize too much. But we have, at least on the tokenization space, we see a bright spot for ZK and FHE. So it is a reality today.
Okay,
yeah.
Understood. Thank you. Turning to events, banks and corporates really had a narrow and limited channel of collaborating. Or any of you could actually take this one. And so collaborating on data in general has its privacy concerns, scalability concerns, and it's like a narrow niche. And how does zero knowledge or FHE or privacy preserving technologies at current stage open up this opportunity?
I can go briefly, but then anyone feel free to add on.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I think that one of the cool possibilities that's unlocked is, like, you know, as a business, you probably don't want to put all of your private data directly on chain for a lot of reasons. But with zero knowledge proofs, you can start putting proofs about that computation on chain, proofs about your sensitive information, and those can be like combined together to put a lot of information on chain at once as well. So if you have a lot of users who may or have a lot of use-sensitive data, you can start thinking about making that interoperable with the on-chain world with zero knowledge proofs, which is cool.
I would simply add, you can share all of a sudden all the relevant data simply without all the rest, because you end up sometimes submerged with a whole bunch of data where you only need one line of information out of a specific document. The corporate world is the one where you have lots of certificates, be it regarding the entities, the users, and so on. So you have whole files that you need to go through, and it's a good way of simply saying this is complied with, this is correct, we can proceed with that transaction, we can this without having this to go through this entire file, and also taking in some cases unlocking potential for further automation that's reliable by taking out this idea of there is someone looking and screening for this information and who's supposed to check. I mean, one of the applications is like, how can we improve KYC process, but I guess we'll discuss it further when we get to the challenges, because there's a lot of challenges there, but there are other processes in the corporate world that can be improved. And maybe one thing we haven't mentioned in the use cases or the health sector. This is where we have a lot of sensitive data, be it for vaccination, prescriptions, can you get that drug from a pharmacy, or are you supposed to? This is where a lot of things can be improved. And for use cases, this is like a whole bunch of use cases that users care about. Because what happens with blockchain is we talk about technology that is exciting to us, but not necessarily to the end user. With ZK, like not scalability part, but at least the privacy part, users will potentially get a bit more excited about blockchain all of a sudden, because it's easy to understand.
Okay, understand. Jordi, you want to add to that?
To get it, going a little bit deep on that, but remember, we see the financial industry, the quantity, I mean, the huge effort that means keeping data of the users, but actually for the real business, I mean, a bank, they don't care who you are and what you are, the money comes from the business perspective. They need to do all the collecting all this information because regulatory things. But many business, especially if you go more smaller business that are based on financial, they have a huge cost. I mean, a huge things to do in something that's not directly related to their core business. With zero knowledge, and this is the nice thing, is that you can guarantee that I mean, the funds come from the right place. That so you can guarantee all the premises that you're supposed to come. Maybe you can guarantee that some information is deposited in some place. So you can give all the guarantees that are required because all these financial systems are collecting all this information, but without having to collect this information. You just need a proof that that your money comes from the right place, or you just need a proof that you are KYC'd for something else, or you just need a proof that if there is an issue, all your information can be disclosure somewhere.
Okay.
You just need and this is the cool thing. I mean, this selective disclosure. So you just give the information that you are required. Going back to the security systems. I mean, when I'm contracting an insurance, now maybe I need to give them my whole track record, my full medical track record, just to see if I'm apply or I don't apply to an insurance things. I can prove. I just can give this bit of information. I can apply without revealing all my data to the insurance company.
Yeah.
So all these things. I mean, this selective disclosure of the data. This is what the zero knowledge promise is. You can do this selective disclosure of the data without having to renounce to the security of the main core why all this information is selected. And this is I think this is the biggest application of the ZK.
Yeah. Sorry, we have to, if you want to speak about challenges, we need to move on. Okay, I've got 3 topics. You can grab whichever you like and go just take one each. We have UX, UI, usability, who is using actually, and from a user's perspective. Then we have the legal challenges. I'm counting on you, and Grace there, but to everybody, and also scalability problems and issues. The floor is yours. Let's use like 2-3 minutes max on that, so then we can just make a little glimpse into the future at the end.
Can start maybe if you want in the.
Go ahead. Jordi, floor is yours.
I'm gonna start very much in the challenges of the ZK tech right now. So I would say that at this point we are changing a little bit the era. So until now, the ZK were really complex to generate applications on that. I mean, you needed some good knowledge of the technical part of that. We are entering to the space that this ZK is going to be commoditized. Everybody should be able to build the program just in Rust and just checking and verifying this computation somehow. So this commoditization of the ZK is coming. Here to mention that the hardware acceleration in ZK is something that's really, that's what we will see in the next month. And these general purpose virtual machines and this hardware acceleration, these are the main challenges and the big things. I mean, expecting 2 orders of magnitude acceleration on the generation of these proofs is perfectly valid, and this will enable a lot of applications in the scalability and in the privacy part.
Thank you. Next up, Even. You go?
Yeah.
We go left to right.
Yeah, briefly on the UX UI challenges, like particularly around selective disclosure, it kind of requires like new UI patterns that users will have to get used to and they'll be built into applications because often you want to store the data locally on the user's device and then have them make the proof that gets sent out. So for example, we're looking at augmenting wallets to include sensitive information stored in your wallet that then your wallet, similar to how you sign a transaction, can make a proof. But there's like new interactions that'll have to exist like that for this technology to do its thing.
Okay.
The legal challenge.
Go ahead.
I mean, Jordi touched on the point quickly. Lots of the information we store currently is because of regulations requiring them. So there's a lot of ZK applications that are being developed, but that cannot currently be implemented or at least used by some entities simply because it wouldn't allow them to comply with those regulations. So you need to take into account what are the current requirements. Would we still be able to fulfill these requirements by using specific applications of ZK proofs? And like one of the challenges is how can we push and lobby for the regulator to take ZK proofs into account. I know that Jordi would love that, to even make it compulsory to use and request ZK proofs in some cases. So the major challenge is what I'm building also accepted by the regulators? So for example, if we mention, because it's always a hot topic, how can we improve KYC by instead of storing all this data simply requiring a ZK proof and making it faster, more convenient, more private? Great, but a lot of these applications are not compliant. So if you are a regulated financial intermediary, you cannot replace your current KYC process simply by a ZK proof, because you need to store the data, you need to be able to access it if ever there are questions that come in. So just figuring out all of these things will be is a challenge currently, because you may have a great technical idea, but the use case is not fully fleshed out yet from a regulator perspective.
Okay.
And to convince people who don't care about privacy, this is what I wanted to mention earlier, we also care a lot about sustainability, and having all these data stored online or in paper is not exactly sustainable. So we could maybe push for ZK as a way of achieving some of the SDGs.
Okay, that's a nice one. Ghazi.
Yes, and FHE has similar challenges in terms of regulation and hardware acceleration. I would say hardware acceleration, we're probably a year or two behind ZK, as in, there are projects funded by DARPA, but they haven't seen the light yet. Maybe to add one is cybersecurity, because as you work with banks or with funds, at one point you need the sign-off of the information security team. Today we started the process of getting standard, so FHE will become an ISO standard, but we also need the approval from the NIST, so that we're part of the list of approved cryptographic tools that banks can use. And that takes also a lot of time.
Okay.
But we're getting there.
Yeah, it's great to hear. So it's actually, if I understood correctly, ZK is a mathematical proof. So when we speak about regulators or accepting it, it's actually accepting clear logic. The question is when and how and who can make it happen, and it's great that I think all of you in this panel are really forcing into that, bringing use cases, building on the infrastructure and building on the tech and going on to these panels. It's amazing. Last question, very fast, short sentence from each of you, please. I want to hear, do you think it's ZK summer now? And the second thing is, how long will it last?
I would say that we haven't seen yet the summer. I mean, the explosion of the ZK tech. We are very close to that. The technology is ready. Yeah, I think this hardware acceleration and this commoditization of the technology is when we will see that all this tech in its highest view.
Yeah, I think ZK has really big potential, like to be as big, if not bigger than, but probably integrated with cryptocurrency. So I think that it kind of depends how far it goes, and I think we are kind of in spring, given the potential of where it can lead to.
Yeah, definitely spring. We have the flowers starting to get out of the major. Yeah, they start to bloom all of a sudden. But if it's thanks to projects making it easier simply to build with ZK proofs, because we have a lot of ideas. I think everyone by now knows this is what you could do with ZK, but then how do you go from the idea to the implementation? And we are in the phase where we start to figure out the tools and how to build with them, to improve those tools so that those ideas can become reality and all these use cases can be implemented, and we can hope for a summer where these projects are out there, reaching out to users and start being used.
I hate the seasonal cyclicality, because summer means that winter will come later, which I hate. I would say privacy in general as a theme has been growing. The way I see it is it took 20 years for HTTPS to pretty much replace HTTP. 20 years. Hopefully it will take less, but we can see growth. We hope that the growth can accelerate, but it will definitely get there. It's just whether it's 5 years, 10 years, or just 6 months, who knows?
Okay, so I would conclude that we are in the spring, rather not in the summer yet. We're in the spring of ZK, privacy-preserving technologies, and going towards a everlasting summer, right?
Yeah.
Amazing. Thank you very, very much for your listening. Thanks for our panelists. Thank you very much.